what's going to be relevant for you today. But a clear way in the NAHA competition of showing how work should look. It was, if it's fashion, remember you need to do full length. And then if you're doing different categories, remember to look and read the things. I tend to go on and look at what's won in the past, and then it will give you a good idea of what the judges are looking for. Remember that the judges are very fresh. They know what's going on. So, you know, they want something that's going to be memorable. They're going to flick that on that image on the screen and then go, wow, that is one that stands out. So keep that in mind.
Wonderful.
Then, the interesting thing is now, we talked a lot about shoots, you know, the general kind of things, but now we're looking at shooting for hair trade magazines or, you know, that kind of thing, Modern Salon, American Salon, Behind the Chair, you name them. What exactly are they looking for? Well, there's generally no rule of thumb, but remember one thing. Remember to have something that's interesting, whether you're saying it verbally with copy that's built around a technique. Maybe it's a finish, maybe it's a blow dry, maybe it's a color, maybe it's a cut. They're looking for something that they can always write about or put in image-wise in the magazine that's going to be interesting, yeah? So it could be something commercial, it could be something avant-garde, it could be to do with men's hair. So keep that in mind. What are they looking for? They're looking for images that are going to look beautiful, pretty, high resolution. So what they do is they look good on the paper. You don't want anything that looks out of focus. Models that look pretty, makeup that's well executed, make sure the retouching has been done and it looks very natural, but looks very, very believable. So these are just all little images to me that represent different kind of hair magazines around the world. And every magazine has a different kind of perspective. And the important thing is to connect with your editor who's in charge of the magazine about what you can and what you wouldn't do when it kind of comes to the images. And don't be frightened of asking them, because they're very, very helpful and they're only very, very willing to advise you. Here is one of my favorites, and one of my favorite persons. I've known Tabitha for a long time, and she asked me to do the hair, which was a great honor. And basically, you know, when Tabitha, they wanted to show Tabitha in a different way than what she's been perceived on TV. It's like, you know, we turned the table, and what I've done is I've taken a Tabitha for the day in a photo shoot. So we all got together, we had a storyboard, we knew what the makeup was going to be like, we knew what the wardrobe was going to be like, and we brought the team together, and then the photographer brought it all to life. And Tabitha's still Tabitha there, but she's all glammed up. Hair's very short, so there's not a lot I can do. So what I decided to do was to match her hair with very tiny wefts, and add tiny wefts into the hair, not to give a length to her hair because long hair doesn't look that good on Tabitha, but to add a little bit more texture, a little bit more dimension to the rest of the images that you'll see. And the interesting thing is that all we did was giggle all day long. I mean, you know, I couldn't do what Tabitha was doing because we'd turn the cards around on her, the tables around, I should say. But she had to almost act like a model, but she's not a model. She's a person. And the photographer was great at making her feel brilliant and comfortable and bringing out that bit in Tabitha that we don't often get to see.
No, I just absolutely love this, and you have these images on your website as well, Damien Carney London. And I mean, what you're talking about, when you said that you were giggling the whole shoot, like you can just feel the energy, I think. It's wonderful.
Well, you've got to, you know, it's kind of like walking into a hotel, a room, a restaurant, or a dentist, and it's like, get me out of there, or, you know what, I like it here. It's about an energy, and that energy can be created by one person or a group of people that can be off on a day, and you just got to stamp it out of the way, and you've got to make it, everything has to be very positive about making somebody feel beautiful and complimentary. One word of advice, which I was told many, many years ago, a long time ago, by a very famous photographer and also a very famous hairdresser. Unless you're asked something, then keep your mouth shut. Unless somebody asks you directly about something, then keep your mouth zipped. Because often people will crowd around the monitor where the images are, because we're working in the digital world, and we'll say, well, I don't like that, and I don't like, well, nobody asked you, keep it to yourself. So unless you're asked something, keep it to yourself. That's what I would say, because it gets very sensitive, yeah? It might be actually what they were looking for. Now here we're moving on to shooting for consumer, editorial, or advertising. And you know, there's different focuses, and I do believe that on our first one it includes men, and this one's for Michelle, I believe, in Phoenix. Michelle, men are very, very similar when it kind of comes to, you know, shooting the hair, but the only difference is when it kind of comes shooting the hair and what have you, I find that it doesn't go through the transitions. Men's hair will be short, it might be long, it might be preppy, it might be gentlemanlike, it might be smooth, and that's it. You look at a lot of the models that are in the ads right now in any fashion magazine, and they have no facial hair. They almost look like they're very much prettier than often the female models. So men are going through a very pretty, very dapper, very finished, gentleman-like to their look. Here, this was selling eyewear. So with the accessories of, the leather belts and the jewelry and everything, it kind of works really, really well. The next one was for Kevin Aquan and basically the makeup line. And this was just very, very simple. Half the head is cropped out because they're focusing on makeup. And although it was very, very simple, I actually find the simplest of things often the hardest things to do because it's easy to overdo it because you always feel that you haven't done enough. So what happens is that one needs to stay true to your concept, because if the hair's too complex with this, all that's going to happen is it's going to distract away from the focus, which is the makeup. Different skin tones, different ethnicities, different hair textures requires different makeup, and so did the hairstyles. Minimal, waves, smooth, hair worked away, and I thought it worked really well. The client was very happy, and at the end of the day, if I'm doing a job that's like this, I'm always concerned that I've achieved the objective and the goal of whatever the client wants. Because at the end of the day, that's what I'm there. I'm a person to just accessorize what they want to do. Lingerie, often, shot in particular ways, but, this person wanted sexy hair. So to me, when sexy hair is the kind of thing that everybody wants or want to achieve, I tend to go for messy. Messy is definitely much sexier than if it was very stark, it was pulled away, or very contrived and very controlled. So when somebody goes, I want something sexy, think messy. It could be messy and damp, it could be messy and curly, messy and straight, but it's been loosened up. Guess what this is selling? Hair color. And it was featured in this month's Colorist magazine, and was the cover, and it was done by Sue Pemberton. Lots of vivid reds, but I love the color palette. Notice the cool wardrobe accentuates the opposite of basically the hair color, which is very rich reds. So very, very simple, luxurious lights. You can see the different tones running through the hair. And here I think it's important to show a bit of fashion, because fashion's important to us in the shoot. And I think to shoot this with no clothes on or just as a headshot really wouldn't read the same. So I like the length of the hair with a little bit of wind. A little bit of wind's good when somebody's looking a bit rigid and a little bit structured. So a little bit of a wind, whether you blow it with a cardboard or whether you put a little bit of fan on it, it's pretty good. Our model wasn't very rigid there. I just wanted to have less hair hanging around that beautiful face of hers. This one here was a product which was launched probably about 3 years ago by Joico, and I was involved in the creative process. It was a product that was used for all people, and they wanted it to have that mass appeal. It was about celebrating texture. The model on the left was our choice. She's fun. She has a youthful finish. She's got an interesting haircut. She could use any one of those products, and she could create fabulous results. And the interesting thing is the black and white image goes with the black and white kind of packaging, which I thought looked really, really cool. Very timeless and very, very clean and modern. Now, here we go into the secrets and the little things that a lot of people don't know about. There are 1,000 things you could talk about when it comes to retouching and everything. I'm far from an expert. I'm just kind of looking at it from a hair point of view. But when you look at the world of retouching, there are incredible things you want to do. Well, first of all, the rule of thumb is you don't want to be retouching too much, because all you're going to do is change the image into something it really originally was not. Mm-hmm. Look on the before shot. Well, actually, this is a trick one, because the before is not the right one, and the after, it should be reversed.
I was wondering. I was just noticing that.
Exactly. So the after is the before and the before is the after. So here, look, you can see the texture. You're going to get this on any person that you see. In real life, you're going to look at somebody's skin and you're going to kind of go, great, it looks fabulous. But because of the actual resolution of the camera and the actual ability to have high-resolution images, you're going to find it's going to pick up on any facial hair, any tiny blemishes. But this is natural, no matter whether you're a supermodel or you're not a model at all. It's going to pick it up. So what you would make sure, you should always make sure the skin is smooth and flawless. Here is a wardrobe styling issue, and you can see on the before it's quite baggy, and afterwards it's been taken in, just to give a bit more body shape. But at the end of the day, this photographer shot really, really quickly, and this is important because different photographers shoot slow, some medium, and some fast. Rather than losing a great image that's in movement, he would rather touch in the wardrobe to make the body look a better shape than lose the spirit of everything, rather than recomposing the model and making it too rigid. So you'll find each